Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome back to another video. So in this video, we're going to do our first follow along sequence. So I'm going to make this nice and simple and perform some of the exercises that we've used in previous videos. And from there, we're going to combine the exercises to create this flow sequence using a kettlebell and an elevated box. Right, let's get into it. First thing you want to do is grab yourself a kettlebell or a dumbbell. You can also use a gym plate, especially the ones with the holes in them so you can place your hands through. You're going to stand up onto an elevated surface. I'm going to use a plyometric box for this exercise. We want to place our feet right up close to the edge, but we want to make sure that the feet are not hanging off the edge. And then we're going to start off with a Jefferson curl. So first thing I want you to do is bring your chin into your chest, round your back as much as possible, and then we're going to go all the way down. So as I'm going down, I'm keeping my tail tucked, and then once my arms get to about knee level, I'm going to allow the arms to come forward in line with my eyes. This is just a warm-up, so you don't need to go all the way down yet. And we're going to try and do 5 repetitions. So as I'm getting to that end range point, I'm thinking about squeezing my quads, and that allows me to lock the knees out and focus the stretch more on the hamstrings. And then for the top part of the movement, I'm really trying to emphasize the rounding of the shoulders. So I'm bringing the shoulders forward, bringing my chin into my chest, tucking my tail really strongly, and then allowing the stretch to start off from the upper part of the back. So the traps are getting a stretch at the moment, plus it's now moving into the lower back as the kettlebell comes down to around knee level. Good. From here, we're going to move into a squat. And with this, we can turn the feet out if we need to, depending on the flexibility. Now, when we're doing this, we're going to make sure that the heels of the feet are grounded. So if you need to, you can go a little wider with your stance. And then we're just going to try and sink our arms down towards the ground. So this is going to bring the stretch into the iliacus muscle, which is the front part of the hip. So nice and easy, I'm just going to go forward and back. So the focus here is to rock the weight from the heels to the toes as you lean back and then going forward. I'm just going to do one more repetition, and because of the way my body's feeling today, I'm just going to try and hang in that position for a few more seconds. So you can do this with a Jefferson curl as well, and it's just so that you're becoming a bit more aware of what's going on in the body. So if you find your lower back's tight or the hamstrings are tight, this is going to be great for you. So the end range of the Jefferson curl, just hold that for about 10 to 20 seconds. The same thing I'll do for this squat. Nice. Right, for the next part of the sequence, I'm going to stand back up. And then I'm going to focus on moving the Jefferson curl to one side of the box. So I'm going to shuffle over towards the right side. And here's the key. As I round myself all the way down, I go right to my end range, and then I'm going to turn the kettlebell over towards the right side. So from my torso, I'm going to turn towards the right, and this will bring on a much stronger sensation in the right hamstring. You can partially bend the left one if it feels a bit more comfortable to focus the stretch on the right hamstring. Hold that for a few seconds and then bring the kettlebell back into the center. So again, I'm going to try and do about 5 repetitions. So I turn from the torso, pause for a few seconds there, and then back into the center. Try and see if you can keep the head relaxed whilst you're doing this, so all the weight is off the head and you're feeling a really nice stretch in the upper part of your back going up into the neck. Last one.
Nice. On the same side, I'm going to try and make this a bit more interesting. So I'm going to let go of the kettlebell with my right hand, and then I'm going to do the same thing again. Turn towards the right side with my torso, keep the right leg locked out, so then the stretch is in the hamstring. And you're also going to feel this right across the left side of the shoulder and the arm. Nice. I'm going to bring the other hand back onto the kettlebell, and then I'm just going to reverse the entire Jefferson curl.
Good. Right. A few tips when we're doing this exercise. The first one is if you're struggling to balance on the box or you feel like you're going to fall forward, you can always place something about this height here so you can place the hand on top of that. You can use a stick or you can use a dowel, something that will hold you up and give you a bit more confidence in position. The second thing is, with that right leg that's engaged as I turn my body towards the right side, I'm focusing on really trying to push the knee back. The more I try and push the knee back by engaging the quads, the stronger I'm going to feel that in the hamstrings, especially lower part of the hamstring. When it comes to the Jefferson curl, because we're rounding our back, the emphasis is more on the lower part of the hamstrings. Whereas if you're hinging and we're doing a good morning type of movement, so we bend the knees and we hinge forward. So either a good morning or a Romanian deadlift, then the emphasis is all in the upper part of the hamstrings. So yeah, see if you can notice the difference. Good, we're gonna go back onto the box and now we're gonna shuffle towards the left side. So we go back into the Jefferson curl, go as low as possible, and then I'm gonna turn my torso towards the left first, straighten the left leg. You can partially bend the right leg as well to help you emphasize the stretch on the left leg, and then bring the hips back into the center. So 5 repetitions with this twisting type of movement. And see if you can pull yourself a little lower. Nice. So again, as we did with the previous exercise on the right side, this time we're going to let go of the kettlebell with my left hand, and now it's been held by the right hand, and then we do the twisting movement again. So if you've got tight shoulders and traps, you're going to feel that right across the line of the arm, going into the upper traps. Last one. There we go. And then back into the center. We bring the left hand onto the kettlebell and then we reverse the Jefferson curl. Nice. So for the next part of the sequence, I'm going to go back into the squat and I'm going to try and go through a couple of movements to help us open up areas of the spine. So we'll also focus on twisting in the spine as well, which will help us open up all the muscles around the lower back as well. So we take our kettlebell and then we hang back down towards the ground. And the first thing I want you to do is just rock from one foot to the other foot. So you lean towards one side and then towards the other side. Now I've gone into these exercises in the past in much more detail, so feel free to check those videos out if you want a bit more information about these exercises. And I'm going to try and do about 10 pendulum swings. So we're rocking from one foot to the other foot, and that's allowing the kettlebell to rock side to side. Good, pull yourself out, take a quick break, and then we're going to go into the next part of the sequence. All right, for the next part, we're going to go back into position. And then I'm going to take the right hand off the kettlebell. Next, we're going to try and lower ourselves down towards the ground with the left arm, and I'm going to twist my torso up towards the ceiling. As I'm doing that, I'm going to point my hand up. And this is going to bring on a really nice stretch right across the torso muscles.
and then back down towards the ground. So again, we'll do about 5 of these. As I'm doing this movement, I'm also thinking about pushing this left leg with my arms and pushing that away, and that's adding more twist into the torso. So I'm feeling that right across the QL muscles on the right side of the body. I think it's the last one. Nice. And as I mentioned before, you can hold that low position for as long as you want for the last rep. So roughly I aim for about 10 to 20 second holds in the last rep. So we're going to bring this over towards the right side now. Again, I point the ground with my hand and then I twist up towards the ceiling with my left arm. And as a secondary benefit, you're going to feel this in your shins. So going down the side of your peroneus muscle. And as a bonus, you're going to also feel this stretch in your calves as well. Good. So this time I'm going to drop the kettlebell down and then I'm going to bring myself back up.
Good, and for the final part of the sequence, I'm going to combine the 2 exercises together, the Jefferson curl and the squat, and I'm going to create the Jefferson squat. So, start off from the top part of the sequence. You're going to bring your chin down into your chest, roll the shoulders forward, and then slowly bring yourself down towards the ground. Make sure you go right to the end range before you start squatting down, and then you start pulling the knees out, bending the knees, and then pulling yourself down into that low part of the hanging squat. Go to your lowest point, pause for about 2 or 3 seconds, and then reverse the entire movement. So I pull the kettlebell up, then I start to straighten the legs, and we transition towards the Jefferson curl. So 5 repetitions again.
Last one.
Nice. Okay, so try these exercises out and then let me know how they go for you. Now you're going to feel really incredible and loose once you finish the sequence. So what I would recommend you do is test out a few movements and see how you are before you do this sequence. Do this sequence and then retest those exercises out. In terms of how to schedule this type of sequence into your training program, I would suggest you do this once or twice a week, just so that it keeps the body nice and loose and keeps the muscles nice and supple. Now in terms of volume, based on the weight you're picking, you want to probably aim for anything between 5 to 8 repetitions. So generally speaking, I like to choose a low to intermediate weight. But if you're quite new to this type of training, then I recommend you go with a low weight and choose to go with more volume. You can also use this as a sequence to warm up the body before you go into your heavy training days. So for example, if you're squatting or deadlifting, this is incredible for loosening up the body. Plus, if you're someone that works at a desk or you find you're rounding the posture quite a lot, then this will also benefit you as well.